up, you beautiful collectors and action figure fans? It's the one and only Optibotimus coming to you with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to the folks at FansToys, we're going to be taking an early look at their new FT-20 Terminus Giganticus, otherwise known as their interpretation of a masterpiece style and scale Omega Supreme. Now, as this is a test sample, obviously I don't have the packaging for it, but here he is sprawled out in his spaceship battle station whatever mode. And this thing is massive. I mean, here's my arm. I mean, there's your size reference. I mean, this thing is huge. Some more scales. Let's just do some of these. Here is MP10 Optimus Prime. Here is their masterpiece sort of scale mini bot, the Spindrift, which also came in the package with me today. So you can see just how massive this is in comparison. I mean, I'm blown away by how big this thing is. It absolutely takes up a lot of real estate, but it is so well done. Omega Supreme really is one of my favorite characters from G1, and this was something that I was really looking forward to. Starting out first, obviously you see he's got his big giant track here. Now, this is not motorized. There are some actual light up features in it, but there is no electronics like the original G1 to make him travel along the track. You just kind of pick him up and you position them wherever you kind of want to have them along the track itself. But it really is just amazing, simply amazing. As you can see, starting off first, let's take a look at what is probably like his little, I don't even know what you would call it. This is a parts former. So getting that right out of the way for everybody. You need to understand that the original one was, the original cartoon was, so there's no problem on my part with it doing that here. But this is like the little base for it. You can see you kind of got like little ramps or whatever here. You got these little pieces that come down and hang over this kind of area where the rocket kind of fits through. It's just, you know, like a little base kind of thing, and you just kind of sit it right there in the middle, and then like you can see, you can have the actual rocket kind of perched there. It's like the if you're familiar with rockets and like the Saturn V from NASA, it's kind of like the gantry for it. And obviously it makes up a large portion of Omega Supreme in terms of his robot mode. The rocket itself is absolutely well done. You can see you actually can have like this open section, so you can have little dudes kind of walk up there. Kind of works well with, you know, like the Titans Return Titan Masters. I highly doubt you would use a Decepticon like Necro for it, but that's the only one that I have here. So you can see setting that there. There are no little posts or anything, but you can see he fits pretty decently, so you can have him just kind of hanging out there. Same thing with the rest of them. I mean, you can like put it there, and it's just, for scale, you can see just how massive this is by comparison to one of these little kind of humanoid guys. But really great detail on this. You can see there's a lot of actual, you know, painted on warning signs and things of that nature. You got a yellow one, a red one. This says non. I don't know what that means. Same kind of thing with the other side. You got kind of like warnings, no step, other kind of paint details for the rocket right there. Obviously, these are the little prongs for it. And then you can take this back section, rotate this around. It's actually attached by a heavy-duty piece of die cast. There's a lot of die cast in this guy as well. You can tuck that around and in, and you even use that as like a little seat for a Titan Master or something. And then this slides in like so, and then you can hinge this back and tab that in there, and now you have just the rocket. Now I'll show this off more in the robot mode, but he does have light up features, as I talked about. You can rotate this around, and this whole section then slides out, and it comes, well, this is a test sample, so I don't know if they included the batteries or if you're gonna have to get them, but you got a little switch here on the back that you can blind people with, and then you just come around here and tuck that back up underneath there. I kind of wish there was a way that they could have done that without having to rotate it and take it off, but you can have a little rocket kind of thing going on there. I'm just having way too much fun with this. That's all it is. I'm so excited about this piece. Putting that back in there. And then the top section, again, because it's a test sample, I don't think all the tolerances are all there. This is a little bit loose, but this top section also does light up, and it's more useful in obviously the robot mode, but you can rotate this. Now this part I do have a problem with. As you can see, it just has the wire in the light bulb sitting right there. It's not hidden or protected by anything. That does make me nervous because that's where the switch is, right there along the side. You just move that and then you light that back up, and then you got to feed this back through, and then something like that's going to happen. And then you can rotate that, and then you got his little light right there. Again, much more useful in the actual robot mode. But that is definitely something that I hope they take a look at and do something differently with, just because I am very concerned about that. You can see the wires are very thin, and I would hope that it's something that they would consider looking at and addressing in the future. I don't know if they will, but it is what it is. But overall, really great looking rocket as well. And again, a great molded detail on there. You got like little engine parts and little things throughout the whole thing. Just simply gorgeous. And then we come to the main body of Omega Supreme, or Terminus Giganticus, I should say, that being his little tank. This is, again, really well done, very heavy on this guy. Again, you can see some of the die cast that's thrown throughout there. You got a couple pieces in there. His little hips have massive amounts of die cast. There's a lot of weight in this. But again, you got some nice warning things. It's a non-charge, which don't know what that means, but it's a non-charge. You've got little things here and all that stuff. But again, real nice, great molded detail throughout the entire thing. He does have actual working tank treads. They are rubber, which over time I would be concerned about maybe drying out. I have a lot of Hot Toy figures, and rubber cracks very easily. I don't know if it's the location I'm in. I mean, I live in California, so I don't know necessarily if, the weather plays into it, but that would be something I would be concerned with, cracking and damaging over time. I don't know if it will. It's just something that I'm pointing out to you guys. It is nice that they are rubber though, and as you can see, all of them actually do rotate very, very nicely. You can see a very large generic space right here where you could put a good guy insignia, but you do have a rotating turret, which has a nice amount of ratchet joints. As you can hear, you can rotate that around. You come around to the back, and one thing that's really cool is his face actually does rotate, so you won't see him coming in here. You won't actually see his face in vehicle mode, which is nice. I like the fact that they actually hid that. Some of these parts I don't have pushed down all the way. There we go. But I mean, overall, in general, that really is it in his vehicle mode. Bringing the camera in so you can kind of see what's going on with the detail here on the tank tracks itself. You got some nice silver detail there. Again, you got some more warning sections on there. You got the larger section comes down here to the little lighter gray piece. You got the same details painted on over there as well, and then it comes all the way around. I mean, like I said, really very impressive in terms of both the size in detail that they were able to put into this. This is their largest and most ambitious set, and I think they knocked it clear out of the park. Now for the transformation on them, again, it is very parts formery. And again, I must reiterate, it is not something that even remotely bothers me because the original cartoon did it, the original toy did it. I don't know of a way really, and obviously I'm not an engineer, of how you could recreate Omega Supreme without having that. But what they did, I think, works really, really well. Now I'm going to start off first with this section right here. Just kind of separate these pieces tab in. Obviously these are going to become his feet. We're just going to set all of this there and kind of get it ready to transform. So get that, then hinge this up. You got the foot piece right there. You want to take this, fold that down like that, and then kind of just set that off to the side for right now. Again, rotate that. That's gonna spin around. We'll fiddle with that here in a bit. Come around here to the bottom. You want to rotate this piece out. That's gonna be his heel. I should have had you do that on that side as well. So make sure you rotate those out. Set those off to the side. Come around to the large giant piece right here. Lift these pieces up just like so. And then this section here rotates around. And as you do, then once you get it out to this section, you can then swivel out just like that. So again, you want to make sure that you rotate pushing this section down because that's where the gap is. You can see it here in the back of him, and when you rotate it around, that little front section here is what is going to need to clear around, so that's why it's separated right there. You can see that there is a little bit of a swirly plastic going on here. I know some collectors have expressed concern about that. I don't know necessarily if it's going to be a bad thing. There's a little bit of oil that I'm seeing here from the ratchet joints. I mean, I guess that's a good thing that they're, you know, oiled up. But again, you can see, I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see that. Let me zoom my camera in some so you can kind of see it. I love the fact that they actually have like that giant die cast piece right there that is nicely sculpted. You got a real great amount of detail in there as well. So I mean, definitely a piece that they really put a lot of effort into. So there's that section. Just set that off to the side for right now. Come around here to these arms. These separate right like that. Then come around here. You want to open these little bits up, extend this all the way out, and then you can see how this part up here has some slots. There's some slots down at the bottom section as well, and then you just push these little tabs in, locking that into place just like so. Split this section here in the middle, and then you rotate this piece out like so. Go ahead, take this, open that up. You're going to need to do that here in a bit, and then collapse that back down. In there you have one of his arms. Do that with the other one as well. This one is basically the exact same thing. If you didn't collapse this piece in, you'll obviously want to. Just rotate the little connecting bit out. Make sure you open that piece up. Fold that just like that. And then again, we're just gonna set that there. Now, the whole tank track thing here does get a little bit tricky to do. It's not bad or anything, I just kind of need to get things out of the way so we can do it. So first, lift these pieces away from it, and then this whole section collapses in like that. And again, great detail. So this is the top of it. When you rotate it, this is now what's going to be part of his back, and they got some nice painted detail as well. There's nice molding on there, which looks, well, it goes like that. But again, you can see great detail and care put into the entire piece. And then these actually sandwich together and kind of friction together just like so. So going to do that on the other side as well. Get him kind of out of the way. I'm saving him for last. Lift this. I'm getting in your way, I know. But lift that. Again, fold this, tab that together, give that a nice little squeeze, and you sandwich that together just like so, putting that over there. Keeping him over there, we're now going to come to these legs. Again, well, these are going to become his legs. These, again, do get a little bit tricky, but it's not terribly bad, to be totally honest with you. It just does take a little bit of finesse as you're doing it. So first you want to open this, push kind of from the bottom, oh, knock down that, push from the bottom here, and lift these up just like so. And then you can come around here, and what you need to do is separate this. This is on like this little hinge thing. You want to slot that so it kind of separates right there. Take this, you can rotate that around, just kind of get that out of the way. And then you have to hinge this whole piece around. First, rotate this around, and then spin this through here. Just kind of force it if you have to. Get that up and along the back section like that, and then bring that all the way in like that. You'll see that little piece coming through there. And then this, oh, you can bring that down. This piece right here, then this does get a little bit tricky. You have to kind of rotate this all around. Just leave that there for right now. Come around here to the other side, do that as well. Push from the bottom, separate that, lift this, rotate this around. Again, you just kind of manhandle it a little and get it to rotate it around just like so. Pull that all the way out. There we go. Again, fold this down, collapse this piece down like that, bring that all the way in, and then just put that down like so. One thing that I really like is these two halves actually have this little piece right here, which is a little bit tricky to separate when you lock it into place. So just wedge this up, separate that, and then rotate that out to the side. And then you want to make sure that you bring these little pieces all the way out, because that's what's going to sandwich the legs together. So then you rotate around like that, and then at this point you have to kind of hinge all of this and get these, what are going to become his knees, in the proper configuration like that or so. So then you bring these two halves together, push that, kind of manipulate that little joint, and you can see there's a lot involved in it, but it's fairly easy to do. Now this is going to be obviously his right leg, so you come around here and find his right foot, which I don't think that actually mentions which one is his right foot, but you can tell because the ankle tilt here. So obviously this is going to be on the, that's the front of it, so actually that's the left leg. So rotate this around, spin this around like that, take these little pieces, fold these out like so, and then you got that, like I said, ankle tilt right there, and then that's going to come up here. Now this part can be a little bit tricky. You kind of want to separate these still. This probably is the trickiest part to kind of do. So you have that all lined up, and then you got to kind of separate it again. So get that all lined up, and then the feet come up and under here, and you got these little bits right here. Just put that right in there like so. So you got the little slot on the inside there that's going in right here. So there we go. Put it up like that. And then this you have to bring up, and you have to get this. This is a little bit tricky to do here. You want to bring this all the way up and lock this into place. So keep that there, and then this giant metal bar you have to kind of move up. It is slightly cut on an angle, so you can fit that little metal piece through there, and then when you do, that will actually tab all this right along here together. So then again, you have to bring this up and make sure you line that up properly, and then again you also have this tab right here that has to line up. So it is a little bit tricky. I'm not even going to lie to you guys. But there we go. Sandwich it all. Bring these together. The legs literally are the most difficult part, and it sounds like I'm breaking things. But one thing that I would say is that the plastic, it's very robust feeling. I mean, I have manhandled this all night long, and it feels heavy duty. Like, it's thick, it's high quality. Everything that you would really kind of expect from FansToys is definitely here. So here you have one leg completely done. We're gonna do it again on this side. So join me, will you, as we go through that process. Again, lift this up like so. Let's see if I can do it a little bit more smooth this time. Rotate this around so that the bottom's there, and that feeds through a little bit easier. Kind of pull this out. And then this, you loosen, fold that around, bring that up, lock that into place. So far, so good. We'll pull these little tabs out so that those are going to sandwich together. Then you can bring that down, lock that back down into place. Come around to this side. So again, we're going a little bit smoother this time. I'm going to jinx myself by saying that. So then rotate this. Oh, see, no. No, well, no, oh wait, hold on. Let me separate this a little bit. Pull this away from there. There we go. Rotate this. Oh, see? No, no, that doesn't want to go that way. So let's try that away. And oh, there we go. Ratchet joints. Very heavy duty. Ah, there we go. Fold that in. Fold this back, come on, hinge this. You gotta get the clearance here for, there we go. Fold that up, rotate that, bring it in, yeah. Having so much fun with you guys. There we go. Take this, you want to detach this piece, just like so, swivel it out to the side, bring these little pieces up, hinge this around, and then again, try and see where everything is going to fit together. That flopped down. Obviously, this is going to be the front of them. So then rotate this guy, get that kind of out of the way. Rotate that. and then hinge that down. Stretch that up and over. There we go. Line that up just like so. All right, now we're going to put the foot in there. So again, rotate this. This is going to be, oh, this needs to go around towards the front. Spin these little pieces out. That's going to be the front of his leg. So again, come around here, split this apart, and fit the foot right in. Well, flop that down. Fit that in there thusly. And then bring that up and over. Get that together. Make sure these little pieces line up. Wow, this leg's a whole lot easier. There we go. Rotate all that. Make sure everything, oh, I did goof up something. This little piece here folded in on me. So it wasn't going to be as easy as I thought it was going to be. Fold that. This piece here needs to fold out. Where are you at, piece? There we go. Fold that little piece out. And everything else just exploded. So again, put that in there like that. Lift this up. Line all these little pieces up here. Give that a nice little push. Lock in that. Tab these pieces together here. Whew. There is his other leg. And now we come to the main part of him, that being the body. First, what you want to do, come around here to these actual tire tread thingies, and you're going to rotate all of this around and out. Just grab hold of it, very heavy duty ratchet joints, spin that all the way around just like so. Do that on this side as well. Very, again, like I said, very stiff ratchet joints. Pull that all the way out just like that. Now this piece right here, this is actually like an extra piece that they gave us. I'll touch on this here in a little bit. You can actually store it here underneath them and just kind of hide it, but you do need to kind of take it off to transform them. So then when you have it like that, come around here to this side, take this piece, you can then rotate this around and close this off. Do that on this side as well. You can see some more heavy duty die cast on the inside right there. All that die cast really does give a huge weight to them. Take the entire head, you're going to rotate this up. Well, let's see, I'm sorry, you got a little flap right here. That'll kind of lift up as you go. Lift that up like that, and then bring that up just like so, and then take this entire section and then you hinge all this up kind of like so. Come around here to these guns. You want to lift these bits up, lift this or slide this forward, lift this up, and then tuck this under and close that just like that. Do that on this side as well. Slide that down. You can lift this up, rotate around, and tuck underneath there. Put that down like that. Come around here. You want to lift this away and then fold this out, and then make sure that you take this section here and fold this in the body like that. Come around here to this side, do that on here as well. You don't have to lift the back section out, you can just pull that around and then tuck that in just like so. Make sure you get that nice little push. Then this whole section here does hinge out, so pull all this away from the body, and then it's on a little sliding joint down here, and then it's going to angle down like so. Lift this up like that, and then you rotate this entire top section around just like so. Keep that around like that. Bring this up, and then, well, take this while you have that out, rotate this out, collapse that in just like that, and then you can swivel or hinge this, slide this in. I'm using wrong words. I'm sorry, guys. It's late and I'm tired. And then just fiddle with this, give that a nice little push all the way in just like so. Do that on this side as well. Want to rotate this out, bring that in, lock that in like that, give that a nice little push, and make sure you get the tabs. You got like little slots and tabs and stuff on the inside here that you have to make sure you get this all lined up with. So there you go, push that in there, hinge this all the way in. Get that nice little squeeze, locking that in. You can bring that down and then take this entire lower section, collapse that up like that, keep these straight, and then come around here to the head. This piece lifts up all the way, and then you rotate his face around for the reveal right there. And bring this back down, close that section. And now you can take this, and you don't have to do it. Sometimes people like this because it gives it a little bit more, I don't know, I don't even remember him actually having this in the cartoon. I distinctly remember him just like having that all gray, so I don't even know necessarily why you need that. I'm perfectly fine leaving that off like so. But now we have to assemble this guy. First, what you're going to want to do is bring this piece in. Now this is part of where I have a kind of hard time getting it all worked out. Kind of get this out of the way. You bring these over the shoulders like so, and then you bring it all the way down. Make sure you keep it pulled out all the way, and then it will bring all the way down and tab down here, and then you come around here to the back, and you got on the backpack here a little tab that slots into his butt, so that locks in here. This part though here, these swivel down, and I can't get these to push down and line in there. So I don't know necessarily what I'm doing wrong, but you got the little gap right there, and then you got the little notch here. I can't get it all the way pushed down. So I'm not going to force it. I'm just going to leave it down like that. It doesn't really affect too terribly much. When you rotate the arms, you can see it lifts that up a little bit, but it's really not that bad, I don't think. So that's something that I'm going to have to play with and just try to finalize. I mean, I would like to be able to do it because it does give a lot more of a solid kind of stableness to him, but it's not bad. It does kind of give him more of an angle for his little side bits right there, so I don't know. It is a little bit precarious, I guess. And then setting him over to the side, we have to come around here to the legs. First, you need to separate these. Again, you're doing a lot of separating with this. And then bring this up. Now, one other piece is you have to take these little side pieces, you have to fold these out just like that. And then you bring this around. Hopefully you can see me doing this. And you slide, you can see how there's like holes through there. You slide it through this middle piece right here. That locks it into place. So you put it in there like so, and then you bring this whole piece up, and then you have another little section you have to slide it through, and then give everything a good solid squeeze with all of those little round tab bits. And there you go. And squeeze everything just like that. And you can see just how big this guy's getting. I'm gonna have to set him down on his side for now. So again, open this up, bring this guy up like so. Make sure you fold these little pieces out like that. And then you line this up here, pushing that in all the way. Bring this up, line all those little round pegs and holes best you can. Give that a nice little squeeze. Good solid friction joint there as well. It definitely has a sturdy feel to it. I want to make sure, do I have that all the way? That feels, make sure that's all the way secure there. Now, you can see just how big this guy really is getting, and I'll bring out other figures for a size comparison because the guy really is absolutely massive. So coming up now here so that we can get his arms attached to him. Bring that back. You have his cannon arm. You wanted to make sure, like I said, you leave this open so that you can attach it. And then when you come here to the arm that you want to put it onto, you do want to make sure that you got two different kind of looks here. When you look in this side, you can see that this side here has a little bit more of a gap, whereas this side here is flat. You want to make sure that the more flat side is facing forward. And then you take this entire section, slide this all the way back. Again, very strong ratchet joint. I'm just going to rotate this around so you can see it. And then you bring this piece up, and you can see this little lip piece is going to slot in, locking that into place nicely. So again, rotate that around, and there's one arm. do that on the other side as well. Again, make sure that you have that down. Come around here. Again, have the more flat side facing forward. Slide that back like that. Bring it around so you can see. Take this, lock that up, rotate that around like so. Now spinning him around so you can see you got these little gap sections right here that have slots for these little tabs. So it doesn't matter which way you do it, just put it in, line that up, give that a nice little push. That'll lock that into place. Do that on this side as well. Bring that in, find that little spot, which I apparently can't do. There we go. Push that in, and when you're done, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the absolute massive, 100% impressive Terminus Giganticus. And again, the sheer size on this is supreme. That's all I can really think of. Now, for the comparisons, here is Masterpiece 10 Optimus Prime. Yeah. Here is the new FansToys little mini bot. Obviously, you know who that is. Spindrift, who is much tinier. I'm blown away by this. It's just mind-numbing to look at the size. Now, I'm going to do some other size comparisons here. Starting things off with some old school. Here he is next to the G1 version of Omega Supreme. And again, huge difference here, because I still have him out from filming my Trypticon review. Here is G1 Trypticon. And speaking of Trypticon, here he is next to that new Titans Return one. And again, towers over him. But honestly, this is a pretty good scale, I think. And I know a lot of people are going to be wanting to see this size comparison. Here he is next to the new Combiner Wars Devastator. And honestly, I don't know really how I feel about this. I feel like Devastator should be a little bit taller. I don't necessarily think that he works all that great for a masterpiece scale. But hey, guess what? FansToys has already teased images of a not Devastator that they're working on. So while this one might not work for a masterpiece display, the one they're working on might. And finally, we have an actual guy who kind of matches up here with Omega Supreme. And looking at the head, I'm trying to, because my camera's a little bit angled. It does appear that at the head, Omega might be a little bit taller. Metroplex's antenna kind of bring him up to about the same level. But at the head just itself, Terminus here is a little bit taller. Now obviously his wings also push him up a little bit higher. Finally, we have something big enough to compare this guy to. Now for some of his features, as you can see, like I said, you can actually light these up. You can do that on both of those. I showed you those already. Obviously it works a little bit better here in the robot mode than the actual spaceship mode. His face though also does light up, specifically his eyes. So to activate that, what you do is you lift this whole section up just like so. You come around here to the back like initially, and you got the switch right here. You lift this up or push it down and then rotate that back around, and you get a gorgeous blue light up effect for his eyes. Keeping the little visor up also so that you can see the detail in his face. I mean, that is really very nice. Very smooth, very clean. I like it. And I love the kind of light up effect that the eyes have. I really think that that is really beautiful, and it really does kind of go throughout the entire eye, which is really nice. The other thing that he has, and I actually forgot to show this initially, and I goofed up, is that his chest has an interesting little feature to it. So coming down here, one thing that's cool is that they give you a replacement for this entire section here. Now, I forgot to transform this right. The actual vehicle mode has this like this. You got some wheels here on the bottom. I forgot to do that. I'll show you that more when I transform back. But you can actually just kind of spin this off to the side, and if you don't like the translucent one on them, you have a solid color one. So you can see basically the same mold. This just gives a little bit more of a cartoon accurate kind of look. But you do have like the translucent bit right up there and stuff. So I don't know. I think this kind of blends in perfectly fine. I don't really have a preference for them. But what's strange is they decided, as you can see, to include an actual matrix chamber. You got this bit right here that you can then rotate down, and you can store the matrix for MP10 Optimus Prime in here. It fits perfectly. You got the little levers on the side that holds it in there, and then you got a little light section right up here, the switches at the top, that when you swap that on, it makes that glow, and you can close that just like that, and it kind of hides the light up effect. And because of my lights, it's obviously losing some of the strength and everything, but you can do that. And then if you put that on there, you just about completely lose it. But that's cool, don't get me wrong. I think that's really neat. And you can see it's a very bright light coming in a little bit more so that you can see it. Great detail, obviously kind of bleeding through because of the light. I mean, I love the look that it gives. I just don't understand it. It's like, I don't ever remember Omega Supreme being a bearer of the Matrix. So you can have that in there, and again, you just kind of put this on the side. Well, here, let me show you how this looks. You just kind of put it on the side, and then slide it down the track, put it like that, and then put that all the way down and close that up like that. Although I'm not going to put it all the way because you can't close it. But again, I don't know. I mean, that top section, it matches more with the bottom. I don't know. I think that the translucent one actually looks fairly good as well. So let me get that in there, bring that all the way down like that, and then close that in. So yeah, I don't understand why they decided to put a chamber for a Matrix in there. As I said, he never held the Matrix, so I don't get it. It's cool, it's a neat accessory, just don't really know what you need it for. Now for his articulation, for a figure this big, he's very well articulated. The head can look left or right, this back section can lift up, so you can get a full range of motion really, and you can hear very heavy duty ratchet joints on there. Can't really look up and down. You can kind of separate the head in terms of the transformation and get him looking back a little, but you know, it is what it is. The shoulders here, again, I have to try and stand and do this. The shoulders here have very heavy ratchet joints that move forward and back very, very nicely. They move in and out. You got a very solid piece of die-cast metal there for a shoulder, so a lot of stability in that. You can then rotate at the upper part of the bicep. Again, ratchet joint, elbows, ratchet joints. He doesn't rotate really or anything. I mean, guess you don't really need him to. These actually do articulate. You can see there's a main knuckle, I guess you could potentially say. You got a secondary one, and then another little tiny one. The actual other arm over here is a little bit different. Obviously, you got that same ratchet and shoulder and everything here. You got the bicep, you got the elbow, but obviously because of the way that this is designed, you don't have any rotation there or anything like that. You come down to the waist, and he actually does have waist articulation. You can rotate there. That's just a heavy-duty friction joint, so you can rotate that around. The hips here are on also very nice, solid ratchet joints. Getting that up, you can see that actually holds the weight very nicely. Rotates back off to the side. He rotates out. So again, let's test these. So putting those out like that, he holds his leg. I mean, he's holding his weight fairly well. I mean, I'm just kind of stabilizing him here, but he does hold. I mean, obviously if you shake it, he's gonna fall, but just putting him up there like that, he holds it up there pretty decently. And as I said, this is a very heavy figure. So you got the in and out, the side to side. It also does move forward and back. There's a bit of a butterfly joint right there. You can, doesn't lock now, it doesn't lock in, but you can flex it like so, which is nice. Come down here to the knees. Oh, got this, I can't hold this guy up with one arm. He's so heavy. He does bend here at the knee. That I feel as if the knee joint here could be a little bit better. As it is, it just, like you could see, it sandwiches, and then when you move it, you kind of have to see how that like separated. You do kind of have to hold both of them because there's two separate pieces here that are working as the knee joint. So just be careful when you're doing it. Now some people were talking about how there is a big kind of gap right here. I don't mind that really all that much. I know that I don't remember who's doing it honestly, but another company is making their version of Omega Supreme, and there was like a piston or something there. It doesn't bother me all that much because I'm not going to be having him in walking poses or anything. So it is what it is. And then doesn't really bend at the ankle other than a bit of an ankle tilt. So you can spread the legs out like that and then tilt the ankles. I should kind of angle down so you can see just like that. So you can angle the legs out so you can get a wide pose kind of like that, I guess. But for the most part, I mean, very sturdy. I don't feel like he's going to top. I mean, he is heavy, and you can see shaking him does kind of move him around a little, but I don't feel as if he's gonna topple over. I mean, he balances pretty deep. I mean, you can see he's leaning right there, but I mean, keep that bent. I mean, I feel as if he's fairly sturdy and not going to. I'm testing it here. It's a, there we go. That was a friendship test right there. But you can see he does kind of lean a little, but you can balance him and get him leaning fairly decently the right way. And he just is massive. He displays beautifully. He's huge, as you can see. There's a lot of play features put into it with the lights, the matrix thing. You got some additional parts that you can swap out. And really a massive heavy figure. I don't have my scale here. There's no way that I can actually put him on there. It's a small scale. But of all those figures that I showed you, this guy by far is the heaviest. And that's no doubt to the plastic quality and the insane amount of die cast throughout the entire piece. He really is very nicely engineered. Now to transform him back, because of how massive he is, it really is easier to go from the top down. And then again, put all the parts kind of off to the side and then reassemble basically. So come around here to the back, you just want to pull these out. They tab in very securely, so it's kind of like wiggling them to get them to pull out. And then again, you're just going to separate this like so. Fold this out, and then we're just going to put that off to the side for right now. Do that on this side as well. Pull that out. Fold this out just like so. Again, set that over there. These little tabs on the back here can be a little bit tricky, so I'm going to use a little pair of tweezers to bring that down. Do that on both sides. It's a little bit easier if you kind of angle it so that you can kind of wedge that in there and pull that down like so. And then you want to kind of push from the front back, and then you can pull that out. Again, set that over there. Do that on this side as well. So again, push from the back forward. Really stiff joints in there, so it's kind of, well, that whole thing separated. So now we just might as well lift and pull that away, and then separate this like that. Put this over to the side as well. These little bits right here, lift this up, get that out of the way, then angle these pieces all the way out towards the sides. Bring this down and then rotate around here, bringing this towards the actual front. So you're bringing the back towards the front of the figure. So again, rotate this down, rotate this piece around like so, bringing the back of the shoulder to the actual front of them. And this is basically done. So now we're going to set this off to the side as well. These arms, you're just going to fold this little piece up, straighten that out, I guess. Open this up, and then rotate this down and in like that. Fold that just like that. Make sure you open these all the way out for his little rocket thingies. I'm just going to set that there. Do that on this side. Open this. Open this. There's little tabs on the side, but they tab in very securely. So just, again, if you have to, use a little tool to kind of wedge it away. And be careful with this one,
because this is metal. You don't want to ruin it with the metal. There we go. Pull that away, and then take that entire section, and this collapses down, and then you can tab these back down for the space shuttle. Again, you can then separate this, fold this down, fold this up and in, collapse this, and then take these two halves and you just slot these two pieces together, give them a good strong push and lock that in. Like I said, this, I do think that that should be fixed on the final one, just to give that a little bit thicker of a little tab when it goes in there so that it stays in a little bit more secure. But when you're done, there you have the little rocket. Come around here to the legs. You want to separate this away and then slide, and I'm gonna do that kind of on this side too. Separate the front section, fold that down, and then you can slide this out like that on both sides. Pull the little wheel or tread section away from the body that slots in there. And again, it's heavy, so it is a little bit tricky to do sometimes. So just take your time, don't hurt yourself, slide that out just like that. Now the legs are probably the most complicated, so we're going to set those off. Now I did forget to show this initially. When you're transforming this guy, what you want to do is actually take this, and again, this is hard to get to because it slots in very securely here. So get a little section and fold that out. There we go. So you want to fold this down like so, and then slide this up like that. Collapse that all the way. You want to make sure that's all the way in. No, why is that not going all the way in here? I didn't even take that out because I'll forget about that. So collapse that all the way down. Then you have these little rolly wheels there on the bottom. Come around here to the head. You do want to lift this visor up like so. Angle my camera down so you can see things a little bit better. So again, you have it like that. Take the head, you want to rotate this around, showing the back section, then you can bring this back down and lock that into place like so. Give that a nice little push. That tabs in very securely. Then take the actual neck section, rotate that back, lift this up to kind of get that out of the way. Come around here, you can detach this, lift that up like so. You want to take this lower section. This can be a little bit tricky, very stiff. Give it a pull. Well, it doesn't seem to want to slide out right now. So we're gonna worry about that later. Come around here to the side. You can take these, rotate these around, rotate these around, come to the little arms, pull these away from the body just like that. And you're gonna hinge these up like so. Come around here to this bottom section, reach in here, pull these pieces out like that, and then take this whole section, rotate this around, and this will, well, you want to leave it there, and then you want to bring this section up. Brain fart. Okay, so then again, pull this out like that. You can hinge that up. This section right underneath here, I want to make sure you reach in here and use a little thing, pull that out just like that, and then pull this all the way out and then hinge that out just like so. And then take this entire section, lift this up. This will kind of get in the way when you're rotating it around. Just kind of push it through as you rotate it just like that. I forgot, take that, tab those up just like so. Now you can bring these in and collapse these back in on each other. And then this is going to hinge down. Make sure you push that all the way, and then take these little pieces. They will now hinge up. Get that out of the way. Hinge these up, and now these will collapse down into the little tabs. You got little sections right here that these will come up and collapse down into if you get them lined up properly. So there we go. Take this, then you bring this up and over, cover this section along the side, come around here to this side, do that as well, fold this up, give that a nice little push, lock that down, fold this up like that. And again, make sure you leave that all the way forward. This, now, like I said, I gotta get this to slide forward. So let me try, there we go. So just get a good muscle pull and then slide that forward like that. Come around here to the back, rotate these around, and they slide up in these groove sections right here. Rotate that all the way around. You can take this piece, again, if you have this, you can take this and tab this kind of right underneath here and just kind of sit it right there. You don't really have a place. I mean, you can put it here where it originally was. The problem though is you have to bring this over and it won't go down now all the way because that's there. So you have to leave that up, put that there, and then you take this and then you fold this forward and then you tab that in a place right there. So again, there's not really a place where you can actually put this other than the bottom. I don't know if that's where you're supposed to put it, but that's where I'm going to put it. So there's that, and that rolls so much better now with those actual little wheels underneath there. So oh, it actually spins. I mean, that's pretty good. So now setting this off to the side, we come now to these legs, and again, these are tricky little fellas. So get stuff out of the way here. Come around when you had it like this. If you had it already split, leave it split like that. That's going to make things a little bit easier. And come around here and keeping it like pulled off to the side. Angle this, pull this away a little bit, and then you can pull all this apart like so. And then you got to take the actual foot, and again, we're going to set that off to the side. Come around here to the bottom. Like I said, take this little piece here. Like I said, like I talked about earlier, you got this piece right here. You want to fold this around. That will lock these two halves in one piece, which is really nice. Take these little bits, kind of angle these down, just so they're a little bit out of the way and don't elevate anything. Now, I don't know necessarily, I tried looking at the instructions, obviously, but I don't know necessarily if there's a specific orientation for these feet pieces underneath here. So you want to rotate this around, and you got to do a lot of manipulating here. So get this hinged out, pull this piece out, there we go. So you can rotate this through here. So there we go, pull this around, and then you rotate this around, again, this like that, and then rotate this piece while it's underneath here. Again, it can be a little bit tricky to get everything situated, so get that out, there we go, and then spin that around, and then kind of hinge all of this. You got some ratchet joints and some friction joints here. I don't know necessarily if it's meant to just sit like that. Looking here at the bottom, I don't really see too much in terms of like tabs that you can do. So if you just have it there, it's going to be flush, and it should work fine. So straighten all this out, keep that there, fold this down, lock that into place just like that, and you do that on this side as well. This one's a little bit different, so pop that through, fold this piece out, kind of fiddle with this now. You got this little rotation section, hinge that around, and then so just kind of fit it through there like that. It is pretty easy. You just gotta kind of rotate things around, and then bring this kind of right there, fold this piece down like that, and there you have one section of them. So again, now take this, I'm gonna move this over there, we're gonna put this off to the back, and I'm going to start assembling some of this guy. So get that there, get that out of the way, drop it, take one of these little tracks, you come around here, and they just hook in like so. Set that there. I'm going to take this guy, and we're going to put him here. Oh, and again, that moves on here so much easier now with the little tiny wheels underneath there. Sorry I didn't show that before. I apologize, guys. So yeah, I don't know necessarily if there's a specific way that this is supposed to be oriented, but as long as, like I said, you get it flat where it sits on the table, then I think you're pretty much okay. So that's what I'm going to go with. Now I'm going to bring this over here. This piece then will connect to this guy right there, and then these, we're gonna move these in, and then attach, I'm gonna get right in your guys' way, attach this piece over there, this piece over there. Then you want to take these little guys, you're going to rotate these, spin this around, you're going to have that little piece right there. This on the underside here will tab in right like so, give that a nice little push. Do that on this side, kind of see if I can balance them there. There we go. So again, kind of angle this around like that, and then angle that down like that, and then come around here to the underside of this guy, and oh, sorry, make sure you tuck the heel away. Do that on that side as well. Bring this up, tab that securely like so. Come around here, set this guy in the middle like that. Let's bring the body around. It just drives along the track a little bit better than it did before. Kind of heavy, but bring that up there. Bring this guy around here. We can hinge this down. We can fold this piece out, slide this down like so. You can put that there. Bring that all the way along the back, kind of sitting there like that. Let's move this back some. When you're done, there you have Terminus Giganticus back in his battle station mode. But at the end of the day, FansToys really did swing big with this guy. Easily their most ambitious project to date, for me, had a huge amount of expectations. And the reality of it is that this figure has lived up to every single one of them. Now I know that there's another third-party one that is out there, and a lot of people do like the way that that looks. This is where I was always gonna put my money though. FansToys has just built a reputation with me as being one of quality, an aesthetic that I personally like, and an attention to detail that, for me, just sets them apart from so many others out there. Now granted, I did get this as a review sample, but I still buy the final release when it comes out. So my money was going to be spent on this no matter if I got this or not. And I can honestly say that getting this in hand really makes me feel that that money I'm going to be spending is well worth it. Now, this figure is being done in a little bit different of a way than what we're used to. It's being sold in two parts. There's a part A and a part B, and both of them come with different sections. When you get both of those sections, then you can combine it into the full figure. And I honestly think that that's a very good idea but it allows you to break up the payments so that it doesn't hit you all at once. I really do think that it'll allow more collectors the ability to afford and get this. And this is definitely one I wouldn't want to miss out on. The only issues that I have had, as I said, this is a test sample, so I would like to see these tightened up a little bit. And then the other part that does make me a little bit nervous are the knees. Having two sections that are there that work to kind of rotate but don't actually lock in, it does give it a little bit more of a kind of worrisome feel right there. But as you can see, moving it around, nothing really got damaged at all. So while I don't necessarily like the look of the knee, it still functions and does its purpose nicely. All in all, terrific set. It's huge, it's massive, it's supreme. It is Terminus Giganticus. So all that being said, if this is a figure that you'd like to pick up and add to your collection, it will be hitting in various online retailers such as Big Bad Toy Store fairly soon. So all you have to do for that is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to BBTS where you can check out availability on this as well as the rest of the wide range of FansToys action figures. But beyond that, guys,
that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget that if you like this video, to please hit that thumbs up button. It goes a long way towards helping me out, and I'd really appreciate it. Also, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe in case you haven't already subscribed. It's free, and you'll get instant email notifications whenever I upload a new video, and you'll never miss out on a future review of mine. Or hey, if you're already subscribed, do me a real quick favor and click on that little bell right below this video, and double check your settings to make sure that they're set so that you get those email notifications. And as always, until next time, till all are one.